bad. How you copying down there?
Yes, good morning, Henry. You have a beautiful signal here in beautiful Richmond this morning as well. Merry Christmas. And Ron is in here, and I think N6BCT is in here, and I think there was another carrier popped up too. So, good morning, and take it away.
Okay. Well, Merry Christmas to you. And let's see if Bill's out there in 6BCT. Are you present? This is WA7YBS.
Yeah, he was there. He was there earlier. He said he was not quite ready yet. I'm sure he went to grab a cup of coffee or what. Good morning, Merry Christmas, NU6F.
Okay, Ron, NU6F. Well, we'll put him in there in the list, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'll put him after you, Ron. We'll see what happens. This is a vintage military radio. Christmas Day edition. We'll see how it goes. And everybody knows the drill. This is the round, the warm-up round, where we get to early check-ins. And so anyway, we have the number one spot's Tom, WA60PE, good pounding signal into Dayton. Number two is Ron, NU6F, also a good strong signal. And we have Bill in there around somewhere, and we'll see what happens. So let's see if there's anybody else. Number four is open. Early check-ins, vintage from military radio net. Go ahead now if you want to be number four. Okay. Nothing heard. Well, I'm on the 32B3, running about 110 watts power, carrier power, and listening on the RayCal, RA17L, Mark III, and it's sunny, gonna be a sunny, as soon as the sun comes up, it's gonna be a sunny day, clear, and it was nice yesterday, and that was after quite a long cold snap there, probably about 4 or 5 days, where it didn't even get really up to just maybe freezing or so. So anyway, we'll probably be in the 50s today, so quite a change, and we'll get under an inversion. So that's what's going on here. And so over to Tom. Tom, turn it to Ron. Ron, turn it to Bill. Bill, turn it back to me. WA60PE, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Henry. WA75BS, WA60PE. Good morning. Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm not going to stick around too long, but I did want to show up, hold down the fort, so to speak, and make sure there was at least some activity on the frequency. This morning, just the usual rack conditions appear to be excellent. And I think this is going to be a one and done. So anyway, the wife is having breakfast, and so we're going to do a little Christmas exchange this morning. The usual, looking forward to a really nice Christmas day and a nice Christmas dinner. Homemade pumpkin pie with real whipped cream. There goes my health diet. So anyway, 73 everybody, and have a good one. NU6F, WA60PE.
Okay, good deal. Good morning there, Tom. And yeah, hope you guys have a great Christmas morning. Yeah, we had a little family get together yesterday, and with all the kids and the noise and the presents and the wrapping paper. So yeah, it was a lot of fun last night. And yeah, I'm on the ART-13 and the BC-348 this morning. And we had I was going to use the T3, but my antenna switching arrangement with the tuner outside in the backyard was acting weird. Then it blew the fuse in my 12-volt supply. So I went out and looked, and here I had an inch of water where the relays doing the switching were all sitting. So I quick rewired things back to just the little remote tuner. But anyhow, well, good deal. And I'll pass it down to Aqua Bank. 6BCT.
Good morning, all. We had about 50 degrees, and the wife didn't go to the grocery store in the morning because it was closed. Basically, didn't open up until 8 o'clock. And that was too late for her. Anyway, so that's the story there. Otherwise, everything's going pretty good. I have a computer problem, so haven't solved them all. But anyway, that's the story there. Anyway, we had about 50 degrees this morning. No rain yet, but coming up for tomorrow, I think. Anyway, so that's the story there. Just told Beth to come in and wind it up.
Okay, Bill, and 6BCTWA7YBS. Very good. And so it's about 50 degrees down there in Half Moon Bay. It's 25 here this morning in Dayton. But we will get up to about 50 sometime today. Probably by, maybe 1 o'clock or so this afternoon. So anyway, 73 is Tom. Glad you could make an appearance. And yes, real whipped cream. I don't know, as you get older, you just, less and less and less stuff you can eat. When you're under 40, you can eat anything. Once you start aging, it's all over. Everything gets cut out as you get older. Oh well, that's the way it goes. Let's see if there's anybody else out there. Number 4 is open if you want to get in on the Vintage Military Radio Net and make a transmission. Well, number 4 is open. Check in now.
DWC.
W6 SSP.
Okay, there's Chuck, K0DWC. Number 4, good morning, Chuck. And number 5, Steve, W6SSP. Good morning, Steve. Number 6 is open if anybody wants to check in. Do it now. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. Go ahead, Chuck, make a transmission, turn it over to Steve. And Steve, turn it back to me, WA7YBS, K0DWC. Go ahead.
Okay, Henry. Well, good morning to all, and Merry Christmas to all. Hope everybody's had a fine Christmas morning. 7-3 to Tom. Tom, you were coming in really good over here in Dayton. And Ron and Bill, no problems. Bill, I did hear you. I mean, you were, I could understand what you were saying. But we got a bunch of splatter. At least here, anyway, there's a bunch of splatter on each side of us, I guess. But anyway, we're running the TCS-13 this morning, about 120 watts, I guess, with the through the remote and cheating a bit on it with an amplifier with an SP200, but without that, I'm running probably about 15 or 20 watts without the amp. But anyway, T17 marked with the electret module, and then an inverted D. So with that, I'll send it back to Steve. Good morning, Steve. W6SSP. Go ahead and take it.
K6 VXY is here.
Okay, I'll get you there in a minute. I'll pick him up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on low power.
Okay, W6SSP, go ahead. There's Steve, and make your transmission turn back over. There when you're done, K6BX. Go ahead, Steve.
On this holiday. This is Steve in Santa Rosa, running the usual columns 32V1 and 75A1 for the receiver. Let's see, Henry, I came up with something this week that I think you and maybe some other folks on the net might be interested in. I found a solution to the D104 dead crystal element problem. I think I did. While pawing through a junk box this week, I came across a speaker that was about 2 inches in diameter and quite thin, very, very low profile. And fooling around with that a little bit, I found out it fit beautifully in the head of the D104. It was almost a perfect fit. Just a small piece of foam behind it, and it was a fresh fit. Anyway, I used that along with a matching transformer that came out of an old transistor radio. It almost to about 1K, little tiny transformer. And anyway, I tried that and hooked it up to a microphone amplifier that I have with some headphones. It works beautifully. Nice audio, very, very clean, very full audio range, and about the same output as a crystal element from a D104, a good one, that is. Anyway, I thought that'd be useful. Hopefully somebody might give that a shot. If you want more information, email me. I'm good on QRZ. Over to Henry, WA7YBS, W6SSP.
Okay, Steve, let's turn it over. K6VXY transmission. Turn it back to me, W7YBS.
Improvements. I had some deer and squirrel problems with the antenna, and I got a new super setup, and your signals are all strong today. Over to you, Henry. It's K6VXY, Groveland per ID.
I guess we doubled there, Steve, or Vern. Sorry about that. But anyway, let's see if there's anybody else that wants to check in. And be number 7, Vintage Military Radio Net. Number 7's open. If you want to check in, do it now. Okay, let me read the list here. We had number 1 was Tom, WA60PE, but he signed, wasn't done, so 73 to Tom. So we'll start out with Ron, NU6F. Number 3 is Bill, N6BCT. Number 4 is Chuck, K0DWC. Number 5 is Steve, W6SSP. And number 6 is Vern, K6VXY. Okay, very good on all. Yeah, using a speaker as a microphone. I think they used to do that with intercoms and stuff. It's certainly, not an awful lot different than a dynamic element, really. But yeah, very good that there's a speaker out there that will fit in a D104 head. It's too bad. The Kobe tones, we used to really, rag on the Kobe tones, but at least they worked, and at least they were a crystal element. It's too bad they're not available anymore. But I'm sure there's some Kobe tones floating around out there, but the original price on those things was like $2 or $3, maybe $4 at the most. But now the going eBay price is a little bit higher than that. Kind of ridiculous, really. But at any rate, let's see. One thing to report. After a 2-year, and I mean it was 2 years and several days of a dry spell, I finally heard a new NDB, new to me anyway, and it was. I was going to say it was Frostbite Falls, but it wasn't Frostbite Falls, Minnesota. It was Fergus Falls, Minnesota, and that was so that was a new one for me. Pushes me up to 383 logged NDBs. So that was interesting. A really long dry spell, and the problem was or is that they are being decommissioned. That is, the non-directional beacons are being decommissioned so fast that the total number that are transmitting is going down daily. And so, we're kind of at that point where you can hear it. There's areas, 10 kc of band there that there's nothing anymore. So, anyway, sign of the times. Let's shoot it up to Ron. Let's check and see if there's anybody else who wants to check in. Number 7's open. Vinny's not through Radio Net. If you want to check in, do it now. Okay, Ron, and you 6 up. Go ahead.
Okay, still good copy, everybody. Good morning, Vern and Steve. And yeah, Steve, that's that was a good experiment. Like you say, I can picture, with the size of that, with the space in that D104 head, how it would fly. I think I've got a dead, an empty head for one of the D104s here. And so I may go through the junk box and give that a try. And like you say, it's a pretty quick fix and makes a very robust element compared to the crystal element in the D104. So yeah, it should be pretty long-lived replacement. Interesting to see how much audio you get out of it, but there wasn't a lot out of the Crystal Lake, so maybe it'd fly. And let's see, what else, Henry? Okay, on almost getting a hold of the squirrel and the moose at Frostbite Falls, and well, at least Vern has got the squirrel. He's not from Frostbite Falls, from Pine Mountain Lake instead. And yeah, not too much new. My big project has been working on the new generator for the TD MG set, and the house does not smell of Christmas trees and Christmas cookies. Instead, most all week it has smelled of cooking armatures and field windings in the stove, baking out any of the moisture that's been collecting for 80 years in that back east, and then baking a few new coats of Gliptol cement. And I'm cleaning out, repacking wheel bearings in their ball bearings for the armature. And then also I took apart the generator again. Notice I had some grease that was getting between the end cap housing and the bearing race. So I figured I'd go ahead and clean all those bearings out, also the new ones I put in that motor, and then came up with an idea on a first level of generator protection for that 2 kV armature, which is so rare and pretty sensitive to faults. It's wound with number 34 wire, so and tapped into those armature slots. But anyhow, yeah, I took out a 632 mounting screw for the mica cap, the one, I did have one of those caps, one of the Sangamo mica caps was breaking down. And this one, the new generator we got, had some Cornell Dubler mica caps in there. They may go out perfectly, but it is a weak spot. If that cap goes, it's right on the brush housing, and it will blow. It'll blow out the winding. So, trying to figure out how to put something in. I managed to cut two small strips of PC board material to make a spacer behind the mica cap. To place it, got one screw with nylon. The nylon screw on up an insulated point to add a little. I got one of those little 5mm by 20mm fuses, and a little fuse housing that I can solder in there between across the PC washer, essentially, to put in so from the insulated line or that mica cap, before it gets to the fuses outside in the power supply, which will be I'm walking very gingerly about that project, since this may be the last generator I find anywhere. Anyhow, with that, I'll pass it down to Bill. N6BCT, NU6F.
Good morning again. It's Pablo Total. Like I said, you know, and not much going on Okay. Alright, Bill. I just caught the tail end of that one that time. But anyway, good morning to Brian. Brian, I think you said you were running low power. I was just curious what you're running. Electrical snare like that is, you know, kind of cool. Yeah, I had a small one like this the other day when I test ran a dynamotor. And I didn't have it quite adjusted right, so I had to go back in and tweak it a little bit when it went away a little bit. I was just a tad bit on the tight side. Tried to loosen things up just a tad, and then it kind of straightened out. But yeah, I know what you mean. Hey Ron, how's Legendary doing? Health-wise, I hope he's doing okay. And Larry, if you're listening, hope you're doing fine there, my friend, and looking forward to seeing your badge probably. But anyway, I've just been doing a little bit of light work here in the Radio Shack, real late. I got a project that's starting up, it's brewing, but I don't have all the parts and stuff yet, so I got a lot of parts coming from Europe, so you know how it is sometimes when you get stuff from Europe, you're not really sure if you're going to get it or not, so anyway, well, some of this stuff they sent up in February. Come on, man, it's terrible. So anyway, I refrain from saying what it is because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not. So anyway, everybody's coming in good here still. No problems at all. Bill was a little sketchy that time, but I did manage to hear the handoff stuff. But anyway, Merry Christmas again to everybody, and I hope everybody has a good day today. So with that, We'll send it down to Steve, W6SSP in the group. This is K0DWC.
Okay, well, thank you, Chuck. Thank you very much. And conditions seem to be a little worse than they were earlier. That's usually how it goes on Sunday mornings. Anyway, hey, Ron, very, very good to hear about your progress and what you're doing on the motor generators. Yeah, you know, those things are going to be rare, very, very rare. So taking care of it and taking precautions are a very, very wise move. And by the way, the speakers I used in the dealer were old PCs. They were the older ones I had. I've had quite a few small speakers here. But they were the older ones that were thin enough. Like I said, I'll get a little message, and I'll email that to you. Give you some more details. Let's see, that's about it for me here. Not a lot going on. It's very, very foggy here. I'm expecting rain this evening and heavy rain tomorrow. So looking forward to that. And maybe watching a little football this afternoon. Over there, K6VXY, W6SSP.
Okay, W6SSP. That brings back a bitter reminder of football. The Raider game last night was very disappointing. They're making this big deal about Franco Harris and immaculate reception and all this stuff, and then they go and do it again at the end of the game. They get a couple Raider defenders hurt, and they march down the field in the last minute and win the game after the Raiders led most of it. Anyhow, that's typical this year. The news here, I was off for a while. Squirrels attacked. Also, last week we had a deer get tangled up with his antlers in my antenna rope. I don't know how he got to it, but the neighbors came over. Let's see, that was Thursday night? Yeah. And, or was it Wednesday? Wednesday or Thursday. And he was all snarled up, and so the neighbor came over from across the street. We asked for help because we couldn't get any from the association. I guess they're out to lunch this week, Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody, if I forget. But anyhow, and he had these long cutters, you know, that's used for cutting branches. And he cut the rope loose from the deer's antlers, and he just scooted right away. But he was caught there quite a while. I didn't know that. We heard this commotion in the backyard. We thought maybe the wind was doing something with our umbrella. And it wasn't that. He was stuck. But anyhow, I got clear and didn't get hurt and all that, and I felt better. So I was trying to get rid of all this extra rope. And I got the old slingshot out and went to a different tree near the front of the house. It got it up really high. And that's what it's on today. You guys are all strong. The signals are dropping off now, but most of them turn over, and still it's loud and clear. So obviously I did it right. It's somewhat in the same direction. Swing maybe a little more east-west than it was before. It's mostly north-south. But anyhow, it's 18 meters, 17 meters is really hot. I've been listening to that. That helps that. So the apex is more up about 35 feet, somewhere around there. It can go higher. I got plans for the future, but I'll wait till after this rainstorm coming this week. And anyhow, that's it to the squirrels. Though I did see a squirrel last week. It might have been Tuesday. He was at the far end of the tree, which is way up the hill, the tree at the far end of the lot. And he jumped from the tree that had my antenna rope in it. And all the way over to another tree. And he must have jumped 20 feet. He was up at the upper part. And I know someone on here may be born and so they can jump very far. And I I didn't know they could go that far, but 20 feet in the air, I wish I had a photo of it. He just jumped from one tree to the other. I couldn't believe it. Well, I guess nothing's safe out there. But anyhow, I got it set up now. I'm very proud of it. It's working great. Tunes up good. It's up really high, and it's less visible. I got it a little more off to the side of the house. And I'm going to mess with the rope that goes to the tree the squirrel was in, and just maybe going up and downhill with it. But I think I've got something now where I could probably even run low power and you'd hear me. It really, really works good. So with that, good morning to everybody. Merry Christmas, Bill. Wish W6 MIT when you talk to him. Wish him a Merry Christmas from me. So I should get on there sometime and get my call and have his number. I just haven't done that. I should. And sorry about being away from. I did have some antenna problems here with our friends, the animals. So I was messing with that. That kind of kept me out there for a couple of weeks. And the rain didn't help. We had rain there, I think the weekend was last time. I mean, it was a swamp out there. I couldn't go out there. Nice, we had like 5 inches of rain. We're supposed to get this week. And the lake that's down below us, Lake Don Pedro, I believe it's called, is starting to fill up a little bit. I took a picture of it. It looks like it came up, I don't know, 3 feet or more, 5 feet. But it can go up another 15 or 20 and before it's near full. So with that, over to, I believe it's back to WA7YBS. And the group, this is K6VXY. Go ahead.
Okay, Vern. K6VXY WA7 YBS. Okay, good copy. Good signals on everybody. Everybody's doing pretty good in here, and conditions seem to be pretty good, although the sun is up, so they will deteriorate. And let's see if there's anybody else out there. This will be the last call. Anybody want to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net? Do it now. I hear a carrier in there, but no audio as yet. Is there somebody that wants to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net? You do it now. I don't know. I hear tuning up, but no audio. So we'll see what happens. We'll ask for a check-in after a minute or so here. Okay, on all. And yeah, Vern, the new location of the antenna is beneficial. You're very strong in here. So the squirrels are your friends. It just doesn't seem like it. But at least you've got squirrels that are in the trees. We have ground squirrels, which are a P-I-T-A, PETA. Yeah, they're something else. Ground squirrels are, I don't know. Well, just enough of that about ground squirrels. A lot of digging. Let's see. Projects. I think I have done the last R390A. It is running. It's entirely built from junk, from spare parts, and both the tools. It took 3 different parts conglomerations to build up the main frame. It took 2 different RF modules to get that going. I had a good IF module, so that was no problem. And I tested 4 PTOs to get a decent one, and I still have to do an endpoint adjustment on that one. And so audio module, power supply module were no problems, but still they were out of the junk box. So anyway, this is the last of parts that are without going absolutely crazy. And so anyway, it's a 1963 Imperial, although it really isn't. It's really got a lot of Teledyne, Amelco, Imperial, which is all the same company. It's all Teledyne. Teledyne actually put the money up to form Amelco. Amelco became a little company in California that was started with Teledyne money. And then about 6 months later, Teledyne just bought them out. And same with Imperial. Imperial Electronics was another little company that Teledyne was just in the, they were trying to become a conglomerate and buying up everything. So Amelco and Imperial are both Teledyne. And so anyway, it's mostly that, sort of modules, although there's a lot of Electronic Assistance Corporation junk in there too. Anyway, it is working quite well, and I'm surprised. So what can I say? It's the last one that's really salvageable out of all of a pile of junk. Everything else is just beyond help. It's just, they're really in bad shape. So anyway, let's see if that carrier there is wanting to check in. If you want to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net, do it now. Okay, well that was a good strong carrier earlier, but no audio. So anyway, let's do the 73 round, and we'll turn it. Everybody's still here, so it'll be the same progression through 73 round. And let's go up to Ron, NU6F. Go ahead.
Okay, good deal. Well, yeah, still nice copying everyone, and yeah, likewise, I heard the tuning up, but I didn't hear any audio, so not sure who, what, or where, but all right, we were available if they wanted to. And okay, Henry, on the R390 Frankenstein, yeah, made me think of the Johnny Cash Cadillac, built one piece at a time. So there you go, your R390 Johnny Cash Memorial Radio. I didn't know that about Imperial. The the second R390, the one that we rebuilt, that one was an Imperial, 1963. So I didn't realize it had Teledyne roots in it. But like most, mine has, it's got a mix and match of parts in it. The chassis is about the only thing I think that's Imperial. But yeah, and I was thinking there in, yeah, Vern, never any lack for ham radio animal stories. So the deer that got you to hang a new antenna support. And, well, glad you guys got him untangled. I was thinking, yeah, you know, that's really not that easy. You get close to a buck that's kind of stressed out, and yeah, have that rack flying around in front of you. You could get injured by that. So glad he got loose. And yeah, ditto like what Henry says. Your flying squirrels, or I guess he almost became a kamikaze squirrel. Why, yeah, they're less troublesome than the ground squirrels we have here in the desert. And okay, on the Steve, on the mic, the replacement mic using a PC speaker. Yeah, I can picture those small enough to fit in there, and they do turn up. They used to turn up a lot at you know, swap meets or surplus places. There's always a bunch of those little PC speakers around. So, yeah, that's a good fix for them. And I was looking real quick to see what the normal output was. I think it's like 200 to 500 millivolts out of that, of course, very high impedance out of that, the original element. So it probably wouldn't be too much to do that with your impedance step-up transformer and all. Plus, it's kind of nice you'd have a 600 ohm output instead of the crazy high impedance output that the D104 has, which is always tough to match to a lot of stuff. And so far, let's see, the ART13 is doing fine, 120 watts, but yeah, I've got a big tote outside that I had my first remote tuner that uses, actually it's a big, I think it's Merch Electric, a big roller inductor and nice, it's a nice heavy duty tuner. That's the one I have motor, 3 gear drive motors hooked up to, and reversing relay and remote control here from the house. But yeah, I had like, I've never had one drop of water in that thing. And yeah, something must be a crack, hairline crack somewhere in the lid. And yeah, I had an inch of water. I've got to take apart the tuner and find out what issues it caused in that. I think I may be okay. I don't think there's anything. But my relay that I use for reversing the motors, yeah, it's just a big massive corrosion inside. So we'll be digging around in the junk box, and one more project that I didn't really need at this point. The MG set is pretty much a all-encompassing project all week long. And Larry is doing fine. We went out to eat for the first time Friday, and then last night we were over at his daughter's place and the family there, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. The new little granddaughter is just over a year old, and yeah, she's got more of a personality now, and yeah, we got a kick out of her. She enjoyed mostly the process of ripping off the wrapping paper, and instead of throwing it, she had to take every little piece one at a time over to her uncle's, and so he could put it into the box of all the wrapping paper. But anyhow, Larry enjoyed it, doing good. Another couple of weeks now, I think 2 weeks from now, we'll take him in for his first appointment for starting chemo for the next 6 months, and so that was a good heads up to get that sepsis infection, which only became bad because of the latent leukemia, which has not progressed in 7 years, but now it has, so Doc says time to start treating that. But no real urgency. I think it should go very well. It's not an unusual type of cancer, so we're praying all that goes well for this year. It's going to mean changes for plans from my travel, and his daughter's planned travel over to the Azores this year with me. So I'm not sure how we'll see if we can reschedule that. I can make it later, but I think his daughter's going to be working, so might have to miss out on that. But anyhow, okay with that, I'll pass it down to Chuck, or to Bill, rather. See, I'll give one more shot there to Bill, see if you're still there, and go from there in 6, okay, I guess it's 73 sound. So I will sign out, but I'll pass it down to Bill. N6T, CT.
That's everything right, and everything. I'll take everything to this point and pass it over to the young
Okay, Bill. Do me a favor too. I concur with Vern. If you talk to John, 86 MIT, give him my best, Kyle's and Miles' best, and I hope he has a Merry Christmas. John was a good guy, and I did a little trading with him there for a while, and just a great guy to have around and be in the air and everything. So we think about him periodically, and he's doing well. So if you can pass along our best wishes, Bill, we would appreciate it. And Ron, thanks for the lucky report. And their things aren't desperate or anything. It sounds like that they got a handle on everything, and you guys got everything scheduled and ready to go for him. So that's good news too. So good wear our best, Ron. And 7 trees to you. And yeah, you know, my R390A that I've had for many years, it's actually, you know, on the tag, it's an actual Teledyne R390A, and it's on a 1962 contract. It's a great receiver. It's that's the most expensive piece of equipment that I've purchased. If you add the General Dynamics CY939 cabinet, got it in. So you know, it's an incredible receiver, and it's kind of ugly. It's not my favorite Collins receiver, although I know it's the best one. I got a soft spot in my heart for my R388. I love that receiver. It looks great, and it works very well. But both of them are really great receivers. And I meant to mention too, on Friday night I happened to be tuning around, and I ran into the Collins Collectors Association net, and here's net control, Mr. Mike, W7MS. And you know what? Mike did an excellent job being net control. I heard Mike on there over the years, you know, but he wasn't, I never heard him as a net control, but he handled the net very well. So I thought that was kind of neat to hear him on sideman with the Collins guys. So anyway, alrighty, well, I'll say my 7 trees, and I hope everybody has a good day today and a good holiday. And we'll send it down to Steve, and Henry, Carl and I will give you and Sharon a call later on, probably after lunch, and give you all the bells on the phone, and we will send it down to Steve. I'll be net control on New Year's Day, next Sunday. So, anyway, take care, 7 trees, Steve, W6SSP, go ahead and take it. This is K0DWC.
Okay, thank you, Chuck, and 73. And, sort of like you, you've got a warm spot in your heart for the R388s. I feel the same way about R390s and 390As, so congratulations, Henry, on cobbling one together from parts. That's it's always an interesting exercise. A lot of fun, though. Motorola hopefully last week for sale, and I would have rambled through that thing just for nothing else, just to work on level one. Quite a few here. But the price at $1,000 in unknown condition was a little bit ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm familiar with the Imperial R390A. In fact, I have one that is brand spanking new. But unfortunately, somebody had pulled out the power supply and audio unit from it. So I've been looking for those. They used to show up at swap meets fairly often, but of course now that I'm looking, can't find them anywhere. And if you buy one on eBay, the shipping is about twice what the unit costs. So That's the way it goes. And Vern, yeah, very good. I'm glad the deer got away. My wife's hobby is rescuing animals that are hurt, injured, or abandoned, or stuff like that. And I've told the story before here a couple times, but for many, many years we had a pair of squirrels that were found just after they were born, hand-raised. They lived inside mostly, and they are absolutely amazing acrobats. One of them would just sit on the floor in the kitchen and start doing backflips. It was like our own little circus here. Keep doing backflips, and we'd laugh and laugh. He'd look at us, and then he'd do some more backflips. Oh, those guys are amazing. We miss them. One lived for 8 years, the other one lived for 9 years. So, anyway, I think that's it for me today, and see you all next weekend. 73 off. K6VXY, W6SSP.
Okay, very good, Steve. W6SSP, this is K6VXY. Yeah, it's interesting. I got this Roku thing. A lot of people probably have it. There's Roku and some other ones where you get all these online channels. And they have the best of the Ed Sullivan Show. That's a kick. They got the music and crazy comedians and weird athletic or acrobatic type acts. It's very entertaining. But one thing I left out, the neighbor across the street used the benches that were up on the hill as a screen. There was 2 benches that were left here by the previous owner. They're about 5 feet across, and maybe with the back rest on it, 2.5 feet high. So he made like a little cage, one-sided cage up there on the hill next to where the deer was. He was right near those 2 benches, and I don't know how it happened, but the line itself, the 1/4-inch rope, or 5/16, whatever it is, no, yeah, 5/16, was on the other side, and it got itself hooked on a trunk. You know how sometimes they cut these trees down? Well, it was like he was hooked on that trunk. But the reason he was able to do it, yeah, is he used the 2 benches. He pushed them together and made like maybe an 8-foot long blocked area, you know, like a cage. So he was on the other side, and he reached over and was able to cut the branch. It was very interesting, though, when the wife of the guy that did the work across the street, and I were out there, and he ran over to get the better tool to cut the wire. The deer calmed down, and I told his wife, I says, well, that's because the deer knows that we basically really like animals, and he was very calm. He didn't jump until the guy came back with the thing to free him. And he took off, boy, he took off. Then he ran by later on. I don't know if he ran by to say thank you. I didn't see the rope there anymore. And the guy's wife said that if there's anything left, I didn't know this, but I guess the deer shed their antlers once a year, so they would be gone. But I didn't see anything when he came back. I don't know if he said thank you or saying anything like that, but he did run by. So... But people up here drive awfully fast down this Ferretti Road, which is near us. I mean fast. The speed limit is 35 to 40, and they see that as a minimum speed, but I go much slower. I do get to that level sometimes, but I want to look out for deer, because you never know when a group of them, usually it's a group of about 4 to 6 of them, decide to go across the road, and you would hit them. So, I bumped one once, but I was going slow enough. That was a few years ago, and that got me to slow down even more. So anyhow, with all that, and the antenna work, getting higher is helps. There is one more goal I have, but that'll be after the rain stops. The big tree, I can go for that now. And if I get the upper end another 20 feet up, I could be, at least 45, 50 feet at the apex, which would, I think, really help. But it seems like what I did, I had it at this spot once before, about 6 months ago. It's pretty good. See, you know, like I've said this before, my dad used to say to me when I messed with my new cars, they weren't new cars, but my cars when I was a kid, late teens, leave well enough, Bern. Leave well enough alone. You're going to have to learn to leave well enough alone. Because back then in the late 50s, I always wanted the car to be louder, you know, to have, like the roaring exhaust you see on TV shows. And the six-cylinders didn't do that very well. But I had one later, a 55 Pontiac. A lot of power and two pipes on it, sounded pretty good. And I blew out my folks' muffler, because if you go through the San Francisco tunnel there on near Treasure Island, I guess is that Yerba Buena Island there? And you turn off the ignition, then turn it on when you go through, you get it to pop. And it sounded really good in that tunnel, so that became a big deal when I borrowed their car. And eventually it went home. That was it. Okay, with that, that's enough on that stuff. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to all, and have a very good night, or whatever that expression is. WA7 YBS, thanks for the comments and the great net. This is K6 VXY. Good morning, all.
Okay, Vern. Let's see, why are we down? Well, that's a little bit of a change. Okay. K6VXY WA7 YBS. Very good. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for your participation in the net. And it was appreciated. Chuck will be at control next week, next year, since it's New Year's Day. So this is the last net of 2022. So it was a good one. Thanks, everybody. We'll say 73 all around. Everybody have a good one. And hope to hear everybody back next week. So with that, this is WA7YBS closing the Vintage Military Radio Net, saying 73 and signing off. 73.